everybody, this is Jeanne B with Fun with Art. How you doing all today? So I decided that, it was very interesting. I decided that since it was summertime and people love nautical stuff, they love the shells, they love to go by the beach, all that kind of stuff. I decided that we would do something with, so these are plastic little flowers, and these are also shells, just different kinds. So I wanted to just make something simple and easy for all of you to do. So, funny story. I'm leaving my house and I had on a shell shirt. I said, well, I'm doing shells, I'll do a shell shirt, right? Say that 3 times. Ha! Anyway, so I get out of the house and I look at the shirt and I'm like, oh my goodness, these aren't shells. These are big palm leaves, banana leaves. So that goes to show you that sometimes right when you think you got it down and you're all set, you got to pivot, right? And it's okay to pivot. So I went back in the house and I said, you know what? I come from the smallest town. It has the biggest 4th of July parade in the country. And I said, I'll just wear my stars and stripes. So that's what I'm wearing today. So let's get on with it, shall we? So first I wanted to show you the difference between different kinds of wreaths that we can make. So this one, and when I say this is heavy, this is super heavy. This I made with rope. And that's this kind of rope right here. And it's wrapped the same way that I'm going to show you how to do this one. It looks different because because the rope is so thick. It's beautiful, but I want to say it's at least 3 to 5 pounds, and it can get very heavy on your door. So if you look, I wanted to change it up and do something very light and something easy for you all to do, because working with the rope is not an easy task sometimes. And I found from talking with people that it would hurt their fingers, or the fibers would get up their nose, and so they had hard times with allergies towards the different fibers in the ropes. And so I said, well, we got to find something different, and it's okay to do that, right? I mean, let's face it, we change all the time. I don't know about you, but how many times have you gone out to a restaurant, or you thought you were going to run restaurant, and you're going with people, and they'll be like, I don't like that restaurant. I don't want to go there. And so you have to compromise. So I figured, well, let's learn how to compromise with crafting and make it fun and easy. I'm going to show you this other one is the same way. And this one is done with a lighter rope. And that's with this rope right here. And so this way you can do the same exact thing I'm going to show you now, but you can, if you choose to use the heavy ropes, then you can do that. Or if you choose to use the lighter ropes, you can use this one on this one. All these are all on frames, and all I did was wrap the frame and put the different pieces in to the way I like them. So this, of course, is a lighter rope. It's not as thick as the first one I showed you, and you can wrap it just exactly the same way. It's a little bit difficult because sometimes it gets so thick in your hands that you don't have enough room to maneuver it around. And so that's one way of doing those. Those are two different ways. Now, this is the fun part. I decided that, well, we had the thick rope, we had the thin rope. And those, pretty much you can just Google that and find that on any kind of channel. But I wanted to make something that was easy for everyone to use, that even if you wanted to teach your child, you could do that as well. So I was looking around in the craft department and I'm like, I need something different. And so, sometimes we need to change things up in life, right? And sometimes if we keep doing it the same way, it keeps coming out the same way, which is fine. But sometimes you just want to change things up and make it a little different. And so what I went to was the yarn department. And I don't know the name of the yarn. I don't know the ply of the yarn. But all I know is it looked like it was rope. It's nice and it's super soft. And if I could knit, I would knit something with it, but I can't knit. So my mother taught me years ago, and we learn these things, and sometimes we learn them, and we don't learn them well enough to continue on with them because we don't think we're going to need them. But if I could knit, I would. So what I did was this. I took this, and this is the finished product of how I did it. I just wrapped it around, and then I got some of the wider rope. and I put the wider rope around it because I wanted some kind of diversity. I wanted different textures. I wanted different things. Now, what I could have done was, and I could do it on this big rope, is I could take the pink rope. And I could do that too, because so say I wanted to make it a little softer for like a bathroom or some kind of place, you know, in the entrance hall, or a child's room, whatever. I could take the alternate color ropes and wrap that around. And it makes it quite endearing. And then all I did was, after that was all done, I just put on the shells. So this is how it looks without any kind of adornment. Now, look how thin that is, right? It's very light, it's very thin, it's not heavy. I mean, you can do all kinds of things with this. If you don't want to put the seashells, then don't. You could actually do some other kind of work on it. You could actually do some kind of flower arrangement, or if you wanted to put teapots, because you know how I love my teapots, right, in my dishes. And so you can put a little teapot on there, which I'm working on that. Maybe next time, we'll see. You can actually hang something from the middle. If you wanted to use it for a Christmas ornament, you could do that as well. So this, I wanted to just show you how to take something that is, people look at as difficult and make it easy. Because sometimes in life, we just need the easy part, right? And so let's show you how I actually did it. I had this little one. Now, when I did the big ones, a lot of people will take this and they'll go in and out and in and out and in and out. You know, after a while, your hands hurt. So you have to find things that can simplify your life. And so what I found I did was my trusty glue gun, and I cut long strands. And I took one, and the first one is always the initial one, is sometimes the hardest. And so what I did with my glue gun, I just glued it down. And that's all I needed, that one stability. And sometimes in life, that's all you need, is something to be stable for yourself in order for you to grow from it. Think about that, right? If the foundation is steady, then we can actually continue on. So then all I did was go like this. And see how easy it is when I cut that big ball off? So you don't have that big ball going in and out of the loop, because after a while it gets heavy on your hand and you don't know what to do with it. And so I just brought them very close together. And every once in a while, if I found that when I got to the end of the string, I wanted it a little tighter, I would take my glue gun, and then right along the edge here, I would just put a couple of drops of glue and then continue on. So that way it didn't separate, and I could continue it all the way around if I chose to. And you can do this however you want, or you can make it as thick as you want. And so now what do? I came to the end. Oh my, I have a fray piece. What do? So a lot of people, I've tried it a couple of different ways. And sometimes you can do that. You can try different things, see if they work. If they don't work, it's okay. Remember that. I could take this and cut this piece and then just glue it to the edge like that. And then start my next piece wrapping it around. Or just simply, I could take this. I know I'm all thumbs and I apologize. Today's one of those days. And I could take a little piece of glue and put it over here and then just put this lightly on it. And because the yarn is so soft, it blends into it so you don't have any lumps. And this way, on the other side, you never see it. And you just continue like the next one. You just continue on and on and on until you get it completely in a round. Now that's not so hard, right? So I figured that would bring you something different to do. You didn't have to spend a lot of money because the rope can be costly. I tend to favor the Dollar Trees and the dollar stores because sometimes you can get good deals. This I did not. This was $3.79. This was at a craft store. So if you're making a lot of them, it does get costly. And so I like to do things that are fun, that are easy, and you can make, quick and easy for the summer. And then with the shells, all I did was find out what ones I liked. Did I like the big ones? Did I like the small ones? Did I want a pattern? However, now these are shells that, believe it or not, some of them I was down my cellar and I found a bucket. I must have saved them for something because I'm good for that. I had gone to Sanibel for a conference, and on Sanibel Island, you can walk the beach, and there's shells everywhere. And literally, my suitcase was filled with shells. So I must have saved a lot of them and put them down cellar. So I was cleaning up down there this week, and I found a whole bucket of shells, and I was like, oh, what a treasure, right? And so sometimes in life it's so much fun to find things that you don't know, remember you even have. So it's pretty cool. So what I did with these was, I would first lay the wreath flat, get my design, put them where I want them, right? Because sometimes, like if I have this big one, what am I going to do? Put that over there? Some people like to just put it sideways. Some people like to do up and down. It doesn't matter. The design is yours. Then once I have my design all set up, all I do is pick one shell at a time, put a little bit of glue on my glue gun, and press it down. How easy is that? I mean, come on. If you have an aversion to glue guns, you could always use that double-sided tape. I don't know how well it would work. Elmer's glue would probably work, but it would take a long time to dry. So this is quick and it's easy, and you can do it in an afternoon, which I did to show you all. So now, we did all that, and so I said, well, if I have time, because this is such an easy project, I wanted to show you something else you could do with this. And so, what do you think, huh? Oops, I lost my starfish. Right? This is the same technique, and I'm going to show it to you. All I did was take cones. Obviously, this is a big cone, let's face it. They came like this in styrofoam. And then, see, they're like this. And all I did was wrap it up. I wrapped it in this yarn right here. And then this one is an actual very thin rope that I wrapped. This right here was a thin cording, and I just wrapped it up. Now, why did I wrap it? Why didn't I just start gluing on the cellophane, on the styrofoam? Have you ever glued on styrofoam before? Let me tell you. It can be very difficult. So I found that whenever I want to do some kind of styrofoam, what I will do is I will take a roping. Sometimes I don't even want the roping to show, but I need something to put a base down, a firm foundation. And once I put the foundation down, then anything will stick to it, right? So with these, I did ropings. Now, you don't have to do Christmas ornaments. You can do all kinds of things with these. I mean, it's springtime. You can just put shells. This one just happened I had made for Christmas. But look, I even made a little sandman. Can you take it? So you can get so creative with it and have fun, right? And that's what art is supposed to be. Now, this is a very, very thin roping, and that's what I would probably do on these cones right here. Now, how I did this was, this is just a cardboard cone that I found at one of the craft stores, and just start at the bottom. Don't start at the top, because what happens is you want to make sure that each piece is very close together. And that way, if you have to cut it to make it fit properly, because then all of a sudden you don't want to have this big bulky thing sticking up from the top. Okay? And so that's one of the things I did. And so I've done pink ones. I've done blue ones. I've done all colors. And so some of them, if you really want to be crafty, they sell these little fairy lights. And these are the best kind to do, because even though they don't have a hole, you can get a Sharpie knife, one of those scalpey knives, and you can cut in the middle. So that way, I don't like seeing the batteries of the fairy lights and stuff. And a lot of times that's what you end up with. Like, you wrapped it all up with a pretty fairy light, and then you have the battery pack. So what I've learned to do is just take a little stucco knife and cut this out very carefully, because those are very sharp. Remember that? And so a lot of times, you know, we all have to do that. Think about it. When you have a foundation that is kind of faulty or it needs to be redone, you start digging out the parts that you don't want anymore, right? And you put them aside and just save them, you know, discard them, whatever you need to do with them, and just clean it out. And what works really well to clean it out once you start is a spoon. Believe it or not, you just get a little spoon and you measure where your battery pack's going to go. And so what you do is after you've put your fairy lights on, you then can secure the battery up underneath. You put a little glue, and then once you put it down, you don't see it. So that's another trick that I learned to do. And usually in the Christmas season, I have fairy lights all over my house. I have them now too. You walk in my house and I have lights everywhere. So you can do various things with all these unique projects. I've also seen that people, now this little angel is done with the shells that I'm showing you. And how I did those were, let's push that to the side so you can, We'll push that to the side. And so all I can do is you get the various shells, and you can make the shapes however you want. I've also made flowers. There you go, there's your angel. And you put a little head over here. I don't think I have any small shells, or else I would put one, or else you can even get one of those little round beads, which is fine. So you can be creative on however you want to be. It doesn't have to be expensive. Kids love to work with shells. Summertime's coming. The art of actually going out and looking at in the ocean, on the beach, finding shells. And let me tell you one thing. Please make sure you wash your shells. And also, make sure you know, I'm one of those, you just don't take things without asking. And so if you're by the water, just send up a little message, say, hey, if these shells are to come home with me, show me the ones that want to leave the beach. Maybe they don't want to leave the beach. That sounds crazy, but you know, everything has a place in life. And for us to just go and take it and not ask for us, think about it. Would you like someone just come and take you? And say, okay, no, you're going to go sit over there now. So ask, and you'll be surprised how many shells that you'll find that are ones that you need and you like to bring home. That's just something I've taught my children. That's just something I taught my grandchildren. All of us, you know, we just don't take. You have to ask first. And, you know, and it works. So you can also make little flowers. And how you do the flowers is the same way with my trusty glue. And you just glue them together. I'm doing it on the flat surface because to do it up in the air just would not make sense, and it'll all fall apart. And you just make the little flowers, and you can glue these together. Then you can get one of those, I use wire, but you can use the chenille sticks, right? You can use those, the pipe cleaners, and put one in the middle with a little round, with any kind of thing like this. And then you put a stem, and you just made a flower. And believe me, I have a vase full that I've made, and they're lovely. Then you can also enhance the shells. You can paint them. You can paint them, you can put glitter, you can do whatever you'd like with them, and that makes it a little bit more your art, right? So I hope you enjoyed today. We've got the wreath that, remember, you can make it very basic. It's a very simple wreath to make. It's all out of yarn, and I believe I got this at a big box store, so it wasn't very expensive, and it's a lot of yarn, so you can make quite a few of them. I use the wire wreaths because that's what I had. But I am sure they have so many different other kinds out in the stores. You could use the foam ones. You could use, they have the round, thick foam ones that would go very nicely around this. They also have the flat foam ones, the styrofoam ones. You could do it on that. I have not tried the ones that are made out of grapevine because I'm not quite sure how this would work with it. Usually you don't rope the grapevine wreaths. It just doesn't work. But all the other ones that are out there, if you don't want to buy the wire ones, you can buy any other kind and make it work for yourself with a lot of fun. Get your shells, get your flowers. Now these little flowers I bought, they were in a tube. And I realized that they were, I guess, flowers you would find in the ocean. And they work. They're just little tiny little things. And then of course I have little pieces of broken off bits of other pieces of flowers that I use, because I never let nothing is wasted. In the art world, I have containers that I've set aside. If you go in my house, I have all kinds of things drying out. And so nothing's ever wasted. I'm trying to figure out what to do with the cremora containers, because I use a lot of cremora. So maybe I can make a toy soldier or something. So we'll see. So I hope this was fun. I hope this was helpful for you. Just something to do when you're sitting around your pool or you're sitting around at night watching TV. You get some yarn, you wrap up a wreath, and you make something really pretty for yourself. As far as this one, this is the one I did. And I actually put flowers in between because I like flowers and I feel like it reminds me of the coral of the sea. And I had some extra big pearls. So whatever you have around, that's what you use. So I hope this was fun for you and you enjoy yourself. And I'm hoping to bring the next time, I want to start to do some kind of Christmas, we're going to do fall. You know me, I'm going to skip right to Christmas, but I know that's not everybody's thing. So let's do some fall crafts. Maybe we can do something with pumpkins. A lot of people are doing the decoupage with the Mod Podge, and they have a new Mod Podge out. And it's crystal clear, and it's a lot easier to use. And so maybe next time I will figure out, let's do some pumpkins, do something fun for the fall, so that way you can start gathering that up and getting ready to do that, because fall will be here pretty soon. So you have a wonderful rest of the summer, and I will see you next time. This is Jeanne B with Making Fun with Art. Thank you.
Hey, I'd like for you to join me on Empowering You, the show with me, Cynthia Fontaine, that is all about you. In this show, I give you tips and tricks and tools to help with your expansion, with your spiritual growth, and with grounding and centeredness to get through this chaotic time that we're all facing on the planet. I really hope that you'll join me, and I'll see you soon.